Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here with Eitan. And this week's topic is There's Always a Chance. There are two really powerful influences for us this week that make the ability to transform, to alter, to affect, to change, choose your word, what resonates with you. This is a week that we're really empowered by the universe, by the Creator, to redo, undo, and initiate in profound ways that are not always available to us every week of the year. So we want to talk about the different influences, how to take advantage of them, and send everybody into the week with refreshed consciousness and excitement for the unlimited possibilities that lay ahead of us. Weekly Energy Boost is your 7-day spiritual weather forecast, where we provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that with the power of the Kabbalah, the wisdom and its teachings and its tools, so that every episode provides our listeners with wisdom and tools you can use anytime. And because we are today, Sunday, if you're listening, is the new moon of Aries. And if you've been a listener for any number of years, you may remember that the first 12 days of the month of Aries have a unique ability to alter the coming 12 months. What that means, and we'll explain briefly how to take advantage of that, but to go into more depth, I want to invite everybody to visit weeklyenergyboost.com, where we have links to all of the resources that can support you in applying what we're about to talk about. Every day of the first 12 days of the month of Aries affects another month of the year, which means that today, Sunday, affects the entire month of Aries or Nisan. Tuesday is the day that affects the entire month of Taurus, and so on and so forth, all the way, literally 12 days. And this is part of the, I would say it's the merciful nature of the Creator to give us infinite opportunities to infuse our lives and our experiences with more and more light. So on Kabbalah.com, and we'll link to those resources on weeklyenergyboost.com, there are detailed exercises, how to take advantage of the day, a meditation for you, really specific focuses so that you can make sure that you are grabbing every opportunity. But similar to this week's topic, people always say, oh, on Wednesday, the day that controls the month of whatever, I got so upset. I was so reactive. I was so angry. The amazing thing about the way that the universe works is that when that day comes as its month, so let's say on the day of Cancer, you got very upset. You were in a bad mood all day, and now you're worried about how the month of Cancer is going to be for you this year. The first day of the month of Cancer is another opportunity to wipe the slate clean and infuse the seed of the month with infinite light. So that's what we're looking at literally this Sunday. Today is the new moon of Aries. So we want to not only focus on the positive qualities of Aries, the trailblazing, the innovation, the ability to move on from situations very quickly. We also want to make sure that we watch out for the need for recognition and acknowledgement, the sometimes inability to be sensitive, to see other people in the way of what we're doing. And there's again, I want to invite everybody to click on those resources on weeklyenergyboost.com, but to really make sure that in these 12 days, we are dressing for the job that we want, that we are living as the human being we know we have the potential to be. And if we can do that for these 12 days, we are going to have an infinitely more positive and powerful year, not only for us as individuals, but for the entire world. So take advantage of that, and we'll talk more about it also in next week's episode. This week also specifically, we're looking at an opportunity to remove the influence of different situations and actions from the past that may be in our way. Some people call it karma. In Kabbalah, we call it cause and effect, that what we put out there will come back to us. And sometimes we aren't always as proud of things we've done or said or the way that we've acted or even felt. And we want to shift how those moments in time influence us. And this week is really about connecting all of those things and moments that we wish turned out better to their limitless source. So as a starting point, we have the immense opportunity of this week to affect the entire year, but we also don't want to miss the unique opportunity of this week to nourish us and sustain us with specific consciousness and energy for the entire year. So Eitan, where do we begin?
I think we begin in the beginning because today, Sunday, it is actually, according to the Torah, the first day of the year. Because Aries, Nisan, is the first month of the year. And today is the first day of the year. And this week is the first week of the entire year. And it's interesting, the new moon, we use the word Rosh Chodesh. Chodesh means moon in Hebrew, but actually has in it the word Chadash, which is newness. And the word Aries in Hebrew, Nisan, has the two letters in it, which is Nes, means miracle. In the next 2 weeks, as we're approaching Passover, it's all about accessing the new us, regardless what we know about ourselves, regardless what we've done before, regardless issues that we have, slaves to certain behavior, to certain addiction, to certain limitation, because when we are not truly breaking out of the usual habits that we have, we are pretty predictable and redundant in our life. The universe gives us a chance, especially in the next 2 weeks. And imagine today, those watching it and listen to it in Sunday, the new moon ability to hack the limited self, the limited system of same old, that subconsciously we're telling ourselves about life, about ourselves, about other people around us, and we're able to plug into totally unlimited us. So first, just to imagine what's possible, the fact that we have awareness about it, it opens the possibilities and the opportunity to access new dimension. I am able to access new and restored and elevated me and you and the world, and more we trust it, more consciousness we inject about it, more we are able to access it. Freedom from the old me, freedom from my old limitation, freedom from my old thinking. There's assistance from above to be able to access it. So that's the first step. Because it's interesting, if it will be just for our own merit and our own mind and our own spiritual strength, we'll be in a bad shape. The Creator, the universe, is a merciful universe that, in spite of the fact that we made mistakes, we reacted in ways we are not proud, that we know about it or subconsciously now. We can shift it. We can stand. Of course, we're here to take responsibility. So that's the first step. Accessing dimension of myself, of my life, that is beyond my old self. And we call that freedom, especially in the seed of the month of Aries, which is the beginning of the year. We're able to access the seeds of all sources. Think about it. In this very moment, what's nurturing us right now? We're nurtured by the energy around us, by the hidden energy of the Creator that supports us. But if you go back to the source, what is it? The endless light. What's the meaning endless light? It means everything is possible. if we would be open to the fact that in this very moment, I have a connection, in spite of what happened in my life, I have a connection to the endless light, or Ein Sof. It means everything can shift, everything is possible, everything can be miraculous. So this is the first point we would love all of us to be open and to be able to download this new version of myself, which is totally beyond expectation.
Beauty of this teaching, what you just shared, Eitan, is that energetically, the new moon of Aries, the first day of the month of Aries, is actually a new year, right? That's the beginning of the cycle. Even in the Torah, when the Torah talks about Rosh Hashanah, the new year, it's on the first day of the 7th month. So what's really happening cosmically is a reboot. The universe, maybe on the first day of the 7th month, it's the rebirth of humanity. Today, Sunday, is more of the rebirth of the universe. And because of that, we have the ability, as these last few weeks have probably felt intense for people. I think one of the beautiful things that the month before Pesach shows us is what we need to focus on as we receive the energy and the tools to leave negative patterns, negative behaviors, negative belief systems behind. These weeks show us so clearly, really highlighting for us, where should we be focusing? What are the things that most interfere with the revelation of our unlimited selves, our limitless potential? What are the beliefs and the behaviors that prevent us from accessing more of our unlimited selves? So imagining, right, people can listen to what you just said and say, well, you say that, but you have no idea how negative I've been, or I've done things that I can't undo, or I've said things that I can't take back. This is not personal. This is a cosmic reboot. And if we choose to leave those failures, those mistakes, those memories, whatever it is behind, they no longer have to dictate our story, right? If you stop revisiting those moments that you wish didn't happen, they're not happening anymore. They happened. And what's interesting even about the way that the human mind works is that every time we go back to a memory, it changes a little bit. So the initial situation that we remember that we wish never happened is almost never as bad as we remember it. Our constant revisiting it and the emotions that are attached to it and the way that the force of the opponent works in our lives, it makes it seem there's no redemption. There's no going back. We're damaged. That's it. Lost cause. Part of the work, I think, for all of us this week is to remember that there is no such thing. That in the time of the temple in Jerusalem and when the Israelites were in the desert using the tabernacle, with a few actions, all of humanity could be completely cleansed of all negativity instantaneously. So if that system once existed, and this is when it was utilized, we have access to that same window to literally leave whatever we're slaves to behind us. If we doubt that it's possible, we prevent ourselves from using the keys to undo the lock.
Beautiful, beautiful. This morning, a group of us were studying from the book of Rav Ashlag, 10 Luminous Emanations, the deepest study of Kabbalah and the evolution of the light from the source all the way to our world. So it's very interesting. What Rabbi Isaac Lurie and Rav Ashlag describe in the dimension called the endless, he's saying that in the endless dimension, we already completed our purpose. We already, in this dimension, totally transformed. We already went through the process of mistakes and transformations, and we are already in our perfected state right now in the endless. So basically what we're learning, it sounds a little deep Kabbalistic concept, but there's always two parallel dimensions. The perfected dimension that we already beyond time finish our corrections and all the mistakes became opportunities and growth. And the process of growth, of transformation that controlled by time. And once in a while, we have a cosmic opening to access this perfected dimension that already transformed. So while, of course, it's important to take responsibility for mistakes that I've done, but imagine that we can open ourselves to the dimension that already the solution and the transformation and the lessons I've learned already, I'm downloading it back to this world. That's the window of opportunities. So all the time that we have conscious or subconscious, guilt, shame, and we're holding ourselves as unworthy or limited. We think we are judged by the Creator, but we are judged by ourselves. We are deciding, I'm limited, I'm blocked, I'm not ready, I'm less than. Which that's how our ego uses some truth of mistakes to create a curtain between us and our true potential. And these days is the days to say, in one hand, yeah, I want to take responsibility for mistakes. Each one of these 12 days, I want to take responsibility for lessons, for ego behavior, for selfish behavior, for running after recognition instead of doing things from the heart for the sake of sharing, hurting other people, being insensitive. Yes, but I need to open my soul to know that actually total restoration is available. Imagine, in the endless dimension, in our perfected self, all the mistakes that we're doing and we will do already registered, and all the transformation and the healing of the mistakes are already there. So are we really open for the renewal and connected to the transformed me, or we stubborn and say, no, I need to hold on to this process of me being stuck, me being limited. If you believe it, you will be it.
I think that's one of the most challenging parts of this process is whatever we allow our thoughts to give energy to, we're literally creating that. And the brain, in a way, gets addicted to staying in a loop, even with stress. There's a certain level of, once a person reaches a certain level of stress, it's like our brains get stuck in that loop of, what I got to do? What if I don't do? Like a runaway train. Part of the work for me, and I think for all of us this week, is to make sure that we are slowing down enough. And it's hard in the month of Aries. One of the things about Aries is that they are very fast. Bottom line, they don't have patience. To be really mindful this week and this month to observe. It's hard to observe your thoughts, but to listen to your thoughts as a third-party observer and recognize when you're giving energy to a reality you do not desire. In a conversation with someone today, we were talking and they were sharing with me different fears that they have. And I said, since when does fear provide insurance against that which you're afraid of, right? People who get bitten by dogs are usually the ones who are afraid of getting bitten by dogs. That there is that the worry and the time spent on a particular scenario give it life. So especially this week when we're in that mindset of, what would I like to do differently? What's preventing me from manifesting more of my greatness? How can I shift my perception about who I've been and how can I rise to another level? It's important to be able to identify. Again, Kabbalah teaches that these negative thoughts are not actually us. And I feel that that's a concept that we can't repeat often enough. Negative thoughts are not from the soul. Negative thoughts come from a force called the opponent, that is a force that's tailor-made to provide every single individual with the opportunity to rise above, to go against their reactive nature and to create their reality, not to be an effect of their reality. So when you hear those negative thoughts and you're enjoying a moment and suddenly that voice in your head said, it's not going to last, or this is too good to be true, or don't enjoy it, you're attracting calamity. Remember that those are not soulful thoughts. Those are the thoughts of the opponent. It's not you. And maybe in the past, if you've identified as a negative person or an angry person or a controlling person, that's not who you are. You are a soul that is not only a drop from the ocean that we call the creator, it literally is the ocean. That this is the week, and when we say this is the week, it means that we have the support. We have the opening in the universe to do this work, to make an imprint and to make a lasting change so that those thoughts no longer have to be the narration of our story. So being conscious of the thoughts that we give energy to, those thoughts become feelings, those feelings become attitudes, and they end up dictating our life. So there's many different Kabbalists that talk about how really all of our work is to remember that we are a spark of the light of the Creator. We are an extension of the light of the Creator. We are the light of the Creator in the physical reality. And remembering that is literally the opposite of what the force of the opponent wants us to do. And it will constantly bring us back to alignment with the opportunity that the universe is providing us in front of us to grow, to share, to shine.
Beautiful. So regarding thoughts, Elisheva, I want to share some powerful tools that I've learned. And the Zohar speaks about how do you transform negative thoughts into the thoughts of the Creator. Because there's basically two streams of thoughts. There's two radio stations. The radio stations that are projecting thoughts of light, thoughts of unlimitedness, thoughts of humility, thoughts of love. And there's the opponent thoughts, which it's important to know as part of transformation who created the opponent. The Creator itself, as a tool to help us to transform. So, because this weekly portion, the Zohar speaks about transforming negative thoughts, because it's all about opening ourselves to the unlimited possibilities. So as long as I have negative thoughts, I'm blocking myself from the unlimited. So how do you transform? So step number one is recognizing thoughts that do not serve me. I know it's not coming from my soul. I know it's not coming from the source, from the light. It's coming from the other side. That's number one, recognizing. But it's so tough sometimes to break out of this. It becomes addictive force. We feel some pain, and then the thoughts come, and even though it's only producing anxiety, but we attach and addicted to it. So first, you need to reach a level, please the Creator, help me to break out of that. But one of the tools that works for me is journal. When you realize these particular thoughts don't serve you anymore, they're just negative. Journal. Talk to your thoughts. And start the journal with, dear thoughts, I know it's coming from the opponent to challenge me and to help me to overcome. And those are the thoughts. Write down all the thoughts that challenging you, and write down what types of feelings those thoughts are triggering in you, and write down actually how it doesn't serve you. And then continue the letter towards the thoughts and tells them, but I know you were sent by the light of the Creator to help me to find the real thoughts beneath. The thoughts of my soul, the thoughts of my essence, the thoughts that comes from the unlimited self. And then journal, those are the thoughts that I'm sure you try to help me to access. So the mere fact You're exposing the negative thoughts. You don't make it your enemy. Because very often, when you make it your enemy, so it's tough to transform it. When you're actually reframing it and preceding it, the negative thoughts are there to help me to get deeper and access my true healing, unlimited thoughts. And read this letter that you wrote towards your thoughts few times. It will help you to break out of this addiction.
I think that's a perfect way to end this week's episode. In preparing for today, I was looking through different writings and different teachings about this week's energy and the opportunity we have in the month of Aries to prepare for Pesach. And one of the things that stood out to me was an article by Karen Berg. So if it's okay with you, we'll end today's episode with the last two paragraphs from this article that I feel are really perfect to send everyone off into one of the most powerful weeks of the year. With the beginning of the new year this week, we are able to take a fresh breath and become energized in all that is possible in the astrological year ahead. All of our dreams and desires begin to blossom, and the flowering of our lives take effect. We only need to be open to knowing that a life that we truly long for is not a life where we are living as children, but as powerful adults who sustain others. Providing, caring, and giving to others is what we will find brings us the most joy and authentic fulfillment. All that we need to do to enter this new door is to be willing to let go of our small self that is involved only with our own needs. For within us lies a sleeping giant that is the spark of the Creator. This spark of the Creator holds our deepest wish to become beings who give, provide, create, and conquer in this world, not beings who take for themselves and think only of their well-being. It is in this journey into adulthood and maturity that we are destined to take. It provides us the answers in how to make our dreams come true. This week in your meditations, go back in time to when you were a child. Revisit your inner child. It could be painful to travel there, but be open to going back one final time to that time in your life. Feel what it was like to be you then. Remember the dreams you once had and how fragile your heart was. Bless that child. Tell him or her not to worry. Reassure him that all will be fine. Visualize your adult self hugging that child and sending him or her your love. Now say goodbye. Whisper in his or her ear that there is a beautiful life waiting ahead, that the road that lies ahead of them may at times be challenging, but at the end of the path there lies great happiness and joy. Take another deep breath. Ask the universe this week to support you in making the changes you need in order to grow and reach your next level. Ask the light to open your heart. Ask the light to help you share more, give more, and take those steps to becoming the leader and sustainer your soul's dream. Ask the light to turn on the Creator within. This week, we ignite the Creator within to manifest the lives we were destined to live. We are reborn. Even though we are no longer children, each year at this time, we are given the profound power and gift to renew our lives. If we wish, we can recommit to the path of spirituality and forge forward to awaken God within our hearts. For it is when this divine spark shines freely that we truly begin to live. Yeah, really perfect. And I hope everyone can include that meditation in your daily practice this week and this month. As always, and especially in what we shared in the beginning of this week's episode, we want to invite you to visit weeklyenergyboost.com, where you can learn about the 12 days of Aries and how you can participate in Kabbalistic connections for Pesach around the world. We also want to invite you to look at our archives, send us a message there, or click the donate button so you can support our podcast. But really, more than anything, the greatest support you can show is to share this episode. And we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.